So if you've been watching my videos for a while, you've probably noticed a dramatic shift between the quality of my older videos and the newer videos. I'm going to share with you the camera gear that I think works best for hiking, and I'll share some tips on using it as well. Overall, I think the DJI Pocket 3 is incredible. Unlike an action cam like a GoPro or even the DJI action cam that has digital stabilization, the Pocket 3 has a gimbal on it, which allows the picture quality to come out better. There's no digital mushing that you get with these action cameras, and overall, it just looks really good and really smooth. It also has a 1-inch sensor, which does very well in low light, rivaling my bigger Sony mirrorless camera. And more importantly, it's easy to use just out of the box. You can set it on full auto. It just turns on automatically. You don't have to use the log profile. Just the regular picture profile works well. I would say if you're going to tweak anything, I would bring the sharpness down and bring the noise reduction down. That seems to look good and give it the look and feel of a mirrorless camera, which is much more expensive. And if you want to talk to the camera, it's super easy to do that. You just hit the button 3 times in the front here, the camera swings around, and it even comes with a microphone in the creator combo that allows you to talk and have that audio go directly into the camera. It sounds great. Overall, it's really easy to use, and if you just want one camera, the Pocket 3 is the move. It's not waterproof, but I have used it out in the rain. I wouldn't submerge it in water, but I think overall, this is your best bet for the outdoors. The downside is it only has one focal length, so you only get one type of framing here. If you want to have it sort of mixed up with close-ups, what I would do is mix it with my phone. Now, I use the iPhone 15 Pro Max, but you can really use it with any phone. Most modern phones will have a zoom lens on it, but mixing those two footages works really well. The iPhone 15 is nice because it allows you to shoot video in a log profile, and it allows you to color it and make it look good. And what the log profile on the iPhone does is it lets you make it not look so over-processed like the phones do. I'd say if I had to compare a phone to a camera like a high-end Sony, which I'll show you in a second, the phone does a lot of processing, and it kind of makes the picture look the way it thinks it should look, as opposed to maybe how it really is. Now, this isn't going to work as well in low light as your DJI Pocket 3 or a higher end camera, but it will work. And you can also buy a gimbal that works with any phone. And if you put your phone on a gimbal, you can get that DJI Pocket 3 type look and feel with the gimbal. No shaking, no blurring, and I think that works really well too. If you already have a phone, you don't want to invest more, I think for most part, the phone will do most everything for you. Now, for my high-end camera, I use the Sony ZV-E1. It's a full frame camera. It costs a lot, not a lot. There's definitely cameras that cost a lot more, but this is a great camera for video. Overall, the quality looks incredible, and I'm very happy with it. I tried the A7S III, which is the same sensor and same kind of guts, same as the FX3. I've tried that as well. It's the cinema version. I decided on the ZV-E1 because it's small. It has the same guts inside as those two other very popular video-centric cameras, and it also has dynamic active stabilization, which gives you a smoother picture, especially if you're doing handheld work. That stabilization works great, the picture works great, and overall, I'm very happy with it. I use the ZV-E1 with 2 lenses. I have a Sony 16-35 f4, and I have a Sony 20-70 f4, and these lenses are a little bit smaller. I tried the higher end G Master lenses, which are much bigger, much more expensive. I ended up returning those because I find that these f4 lenses look almost as good. You can get the same kind of background blur, maybe not as extreme, but definitely looks good, and they're much lighter and much easier to carry out on the trail. The package between the E1 and these smaller f4 lenses is definitely easy to carry around. I'll use the 20-70 lens most of the time because I'm hiking and maybe I want to see some mountain ranges in the distance or whatever it might be. If I'm somewhere in a forest and I'm not going to have a lot of views where I need that reach, then I'll use the 16-35. Having that 16 on the bottom really lets you get some incredibly wide shots, and it gives a good sense of scale when you're in something like a forest and there's a lot of trees. It looks really good. In terms of gear I use with that, I have a Sony shotgun mic that I think sounds really good, and it just goes right on top. There's no cables or anything. It uses the smart hot shoe attachment, which works really well. I tried different tripods and setups and capture clips. I used the Peak for a while, and that's definitely good, but I switched over to the Ulanzi tripod and the Ulanzi F38 system. There's a little backpack clip that I can put on my backpack. It snaps on, snaps off really easy. That same attachment snaps onto the tripod and comes off of the tripod. And I also have it on a couple other things like a gimbal. It's been great, and it makes everything a lot quicker than taking the plates on and off the bottom. And for editing, I use Final Cut Pro on an M3 MacBook Pro. I find that Final Cut Pro is a good balance between features and simplicity and allows me to work at a good pace and get things done relatively quickly. If you have any questions, just leave me a comment. I will do my best to answer it, whether it's about the gear itself or how I use it. And if you want to support this channel and help me do videos like this that aren't sponsored by companies like Sony and DJI and all of that, please use my affiliate links underneath this video or on my gear page. Just search for Best Hiking Gear Hiking Guy or Hiking Guy Best Hiking Gear, and you will find that. That helps me do videos like this without having to take money from companies like DJI or Sony. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you out on the trails.